Hi everyone, I'm Lily, and I decided to compare two research articles on social comparison through social media. Each had very different outcomes and approaches, so it was interesting to compare the two and have the ability to conclude that while social media can be very damaging to one's ego and self-worth, there can also be some positive outcomes if approached in a healthy way. I've decided that the form of social media I will use is YouTube because it is one of the most accessible social media platforms and is such a vast research for knowledge. Here's a simplified overview of the article, with the focus being on how individuals engage in social comparison on social media platforms and the psychological consequences of such behavior. It's based on the social comparison theory by Leon Festinger, and it emphasizes the negative mental health outcomes of social media comparison, especially among youth. It identifies the most vulnerable individuals, who are people who are emotionally unstable, who consequently are often heavy social media users. And it concludes that social comparison on social media is largely detrimental, with almost no evidence of positive effects. The second article is published in the book Current Opinion on Psychology by Benjamin Johnson. It evaluates both quantitative and qualitative studies, highlighting methodological flaws in existing research, and it calls for mixed methods research to better understand user experiences. The article focuses on how social comparison and envy function on social media, but with a more nuanced view than Article 1. It acknowledges the negative effects social media has been proven to have, but also the potential positive outcomes. It suggests that envy can be constructive if led to beneficial behavioral changes. It critiques the traditional research models, calling for more nuanced studies, and it emphasizes the role of user agency and selective attention in shaping outcomes. To compare the two, the tone of each article varies greatly. Article 1 comes from a problem-focused, risk-averse perspective. It is somewhat deterministic without much constructive feedback, but the research done is thorough all the same. Article 2 has a more balanced, exploratory approach, modernizing the topic a bit. It is still critical of the adverse effects of social media, but it does leave room to provide a nuanced approach about self-improvement. The first article is grounded in the social comparison theory, which was established by Festinger in 1954, and applies this theory to the negative psychological effects of social media on generalized platforms. On the other hand, the second article incorporates concepts of media psychology and emotion theory, distinguishing between benign and malignant envy. This modern approach allows for a more nuanced understanding of the emotional dynamics at play in social media interactions. The first article primarily targets youth, as a significant portion of studies on social media focus on this demographic. In contrast, the second article argues for a broader consideration of individual differences, particularly emphasizing the importance of user agency among mentally ill or unstable individuals. This distinction highlights the need for research that accounts for diverse user experiences and the varying impacts of social media. The first article has been critiqued for its deterministic approach and lack of evidence or even data for positive effects of social comparison on social media. It also highlights the need for greater user diversity in research. Meanwhile, the second article points out the necessity for better methodologies in studying this phenomena, acknowledging the existing methodological flaws, but without providing any alternative solutions. While both have things that I agree and disagree with, I appreciate the attempt at Article 2's attempt at researching the positive effects of social media. In conclusion, this review highlights the contrasting perspectives on social comparison and social media, emphasizing the need for a more nuanced understanding of its effects. The first article, which focuses on the negative mental health outcomes associated with social comparison, particularly among youth, presents a cautionary view that identifies emotionally unstable individuals and heavy social media users as the most vulnerable. Conversely, the second article offers a more balanced perspective, acknowledging both the detrimental and potential constructive aspects of social comparison and envy, thereby advocating for a focus on user agency and selective attention. Ultimately, the insights from both articles show the complexities of social media interactions and the importance of considering diverse user experiences to foster a healthier online environment.